it. I'm joined here with Matthew McGregor. We got a lot to catch up on. Crypto had one of its largest liquidations events, not one of, it's had the largest liquidation event that we have seen in the market, period. And we're going to dive into what that means. We're going to, dive into the technicals. I'm wearing my Nasi Goreng shirt to represent that it's all over. All we can afford is ramen noodles and Nasi Goreng now. The market's over. It's done. But we'll dive into the technicals. Matt, how are you feeling? How is it going? It's been a while.
Good, mate. Good. Look, you and I just spoke for a minute before the show. We have two different takes on the market right now, which is good for content. You're a lot more positive on the price action than I am, but I when you spoke, it made sense to me as well. So I'm not married to the idea, but we'll definitely go through it now.
Yeah, you want to kick us off with what you're seeing in the charts?
Sure, I'm happy to do so. I do a show every night on our other channel, on the Financial Summit channel, and I've been quite negative, really. So I'm going to start on the weekly, and I'll work my way down. I love these shows with you because we get a bit of a deep dive into what I'm looking at. On the Financial Summit show, I just do a quick update each day, so I'll give a bit more of an overview. In last week's liquidation event, the price dropped all the way down to the 30 simple moving average, and then had a fantastic recovery and closed the week above the 7 simple. So I was of the opinion, and I'll show you on the 4-hour time frame what I was saying earlier in the week, that I would just ignore this, like the wave changing red and everything, call this some kind of aberration. That's just, I've got the word aberration written down here all over my pages. Just an event that happened that's just like a mini black swan that we just ignore, and the price will recover, and in 2 weeks time it'll be back at 120 or something like that, and it'll just be like it never happened. So just ignore it. I just think it's just a news event. However, I'm going to go to the 4-hour because I'll come back up the time frames because it's more easy to see. So when I was saying that, the price was sitting exactly here, and it had it had come down to 105, and the price was sitting about on this line here. We'll just call it 111, and I was saying just ignore it. I said, but the thing is, I do see us coming back to retest the 200 simple moving average and the 30 simple moving average. Now, if that gets rejected and rolls over, this is all I said before the price had done this, then I'd be very concerned. And that's exactly what it did. It came up to the point of the 30 simple, to the dollar of the 200 simple on the 4-hour, and was rejected. And then at this point in time, when we did the show, it was like a Tuesday or something like that, a Wednesday, I said, look, this is looks like a double bottom pattern. It's very scary. I said, we'll probably come back up and retest the 30 again and find our way going back down. And we did that the next night. And then last night's show, I said, well, this is the third time we've touched this. Very concerning, right? I just can see the bottom falling out of this very, very simply. And we had come back and touched on this line exactly to the line that I drew in. I basically thought that if we lose this line, it's a very, very easy trade to the downside. Now, we've been flirting with that line for the last, 12 hours. And now we've just had a little rally back up to the 7 simple again. Maybe we'll come back to the 30 simple again for another, to the 7 simple again. Maybe we'll come back to the 30 simple again. I don't know. But it just seems like it seems more likely than a 50-50 toss for me that this thing's going lower. It would be surprising to me if from this point we come back up, get above the 200 simple and the 50 simple here, and then rocket up from here. Now, that's not to say it can't do it. And in fact, I hope it does do it. And if it does do it, we get above the 200 and the 50 here, I'll be very, very, very excited about the price. But as it stands right now, just looking at this, it doesn't look very positive. I can definitely see some more further downside on this, and the thing I said back on Monday's show, I would ignore this red wave while we were up, at 116. Just ignore the red wave. I think it's just a news event. We'll recover. But I said, if this thing rolls back over and we come back down to this black line, which I drew in during that show, and we break this line at 110 700, then I believe this red wave is a valid red wave, and I would treat it the same way I would treat any red wave, which is not taking on endless amounts of bullish trades, but in fact looking for fantastic buy the dips, whether that's a daily green diamond, 3-day green diamond, or weekly green diamond. Just treat it like I would there. And right now it's on that line. There's still some really fantastic things to look at on the higher time frames here. This is on the daily time frame. We've been putting in these higher lows, but like $1,000 variant. I don't know. I almost consider this to be, almost like a triple bottoming pattern that I don't think it can sustain, much longer and hold this structure. I think that there's a very high possibility that this thing breaks down into the wave here on the daily time frame. I don't like it. Don't like it at all. I don't see it recovering. But as I said, as I always say, I hope I'm the wrongest person in crypto and we do recover. I just don't see it yet. This is the big one for me on the weekly. All right. So we went down and touched the 30 simple. We've had a response off it. The response off it only got us as high as the 7 simple. If this thing the 50 simple moving average is this yellow line. If we can hold this 50 simple moving average, I think we've got a real shot at recovering. In fact, that could be a great buy the dip off the 50 simple, right? If it goes down that low. But if we lose the 50 simple, then it's a whole different thing. For me, the definition of a bull market and a bear market could almost be as simple as we're above the 50 simple and we're using it as support until we're not. And then we use it as resistance, until we break it. The 50 simple is so crucial for me for like cycles. Look at this. Look how long we've been above the 50 simple. And it's really starting to pinch together. We lose that 50. I can see who knows what. It's just not a positive for me. I just need to see that sustain. This harkens back to me to looking at some of these oscillators here. Like the Copic curve is still rounding down. We want to be buying this thing when it's popping above, when it's popping above the zero line, when it's popping above the zero line. That's what we look for. Definitely not on the shape it's in right now. This thing can round out any time. It's okay. And hopefully, maybe there is a flash crash down to 75 or something like that. This thing gets below and then it comes back up. And then moving into the end of the year, we're up at 150. That would be fantastic, probably, and terrific trading opportunity if it does that. But that's just speculation. This divergence that I was screaming from the rooftops, for months and months on end, had played out its hand perfectly. That we'll add that to the textbooks. That'll be there forever. The MACD looks like it's got further downside. It all does. It all does. So as I come back to you in the studio now, mates, and we turn my charts off, we can wrap a little bit more. I guess the overview of what I'm seeing is I thought that might have been just a shakeout, just a news event shakeout, and we would recover quite quickly from it. But I sort of needed it to recover quite quickly from it. I thought if we come back down to where those low points of that 111, 110 sort of zone, then there's more to it to the downside. And that's sort of right where it's sitting right now. So I'm not seeing this as a positive thing at all. And if it turns out to be true, and we get down and break that 50 simple, of God forbid, then you and I will be doing shows about buy the dip. Let's look for really good positional trades that we can sit in for a long, long period of trading. Rather than being day traders at that point, we go to hunting for position trades that we could sit in for 3 years, 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, am I way off base, mate? What do you reckon?
Well, I mean, you're following your strategy. You're following the technical frameworks, and a lot of the indicators don't look good. And this cycle has been a little bit unique in the sense that I have not felt the presence of retail, like full-blown retail, the entire market cycle. There has been some retail activity earlier on in the cycle when we had the ordinals wave and the ordinals hype, but this has not felt like a very retail driven cycle. And I think a lot of that goes to the fundamentals of inflation and how broke people are. Inflation's really tough right now. A lot of people are really strapped for cash, and a lot of people are more worried about how they're going to pay their grocery bills than they're worried about, what crypto project am I going to be buying? What investment am I going to be going into? So I think that the institutional side of the trade has been absolutely the dominant side of demand for this market cycle thus far. And it's kind of changed the behavior of some of these market indicators that we are so used to, because in every single previous cycle, the institutions weren't here. It was all retail driven. It was, fast, easy money and retail hype and FOMO. And that cohort of individuals is not here. And who's here now is ETFs, Bitcoin treasury companies, governments, like, pulling at the strings with Donald Trump taking an even larger size of position in Bitcoin with his media company, Trump Media. There's a lot of accumulation happening, but a lot of people might be confused as to why is that not translating to number go up. And the reason it's not is because institutions buy very differently than retail. Most institutional acquisitions of Bitcoin are happening behind the scenes, off the books, OTC deals. Those do not move price. The fastest way to move price is actually with the smaller retail accounts hitting FOMO, market buy, not giving a shit about the order book. Let me put $1,000 of Bitcoin, market buy. That's the fastest way to move the price of Bitcoin. A lot of people don't really understand that, price is made at the margin. It has nothing to do with how much capital flow is actually going in. It has to do with how it's coming in and what are the prices that people are willing to accept. And as a blanket statement, institutions are not willing to accept large spreads. Institutions make deals behind the scenes and they buy OTC. I'm going to go into my side of the TA here, but I'm going to start things off. Well, first of all, we'll do a quick little promo here. The trading competition is still going on for Bitget. There are 24 days left in this trading competition. So you got a month. A lot of people have seen some downside on their bullish trades, but some people made out with some really good shorts. So we got a couple leaders on the leaderboard, but it's a very small group of traders here. Yeah, it's still about 20 people that you're trading against. So I don't know who these first three guys are because they haven't changed their Bitget username, but I do know that Cryptolicious is in the running to win the $5,000 prize pool. So hopefully, Cryptolicious, if you're watching this, these three people, they may not be paying attention. They might just be trading and not realize that the trading competition's going on. So if either of these users are watching this, by the way, maybe just change your username to your Discord name, so it'll be easier for us to verify you as a winner. But I digress. 24 days left in the competition. If you guys are interested, check out the links down below. You can also scan this QR code that's popping up on the screen right now.
It's a really great prize. And considering how many people are in this competition, you've got a chance to win some serious money here.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to win. I have never seen a trading competition that had a $5,000 prize pool where it's 20 guys.
Yeah. And you can enter it. You can just trade your normal way. You don't have to even think about it, but you're just in the competition. Yeah. So it's a no-brainer to join the competition.
Yeah. All right, so scan the QR code for more details. And now let me get into my thesis here. So I'm going to start things off with just talking about the liquidation events themselves. Now, this is not a price chart. This is a market cap chart. I just wanted a clean chart. So the price doesn't matter. What matters are the events. And we just had the largest liquidation event, $19 billion in liquidations occurred on the 10th of October. It was as a result of a tariff threat with China coming from Donald Trump. And Trump media was buying. Larry Fink was buying a lot of. There's speculation on insider trading as well. I'm not prepared to get into that, and it's not really the point of what I'm trying to say here. Anyways, the point I'm trying to say is a lot of these news events, these really large, high volume events that take place, they're usually bottoms. They're usually bottoms. Not always, but generally speaking, these high volume events are bottoms. For example, we had over here the anti-money laundering tightening coming from the Biden administration caused a really large, very fast liquidation event of 30%, 25% drawdown. And that was a bottom. We rallied basically full recovery after that point. Then we had Tesla reversing the company reversing their stance on accepting Bitcoin payments for Tesla cars. That was a really large move to the downside. This was not all just Tesla, but that's kind of the headline and the sentiment that went along with that. And that resulted in a new all-time high, a rally from that level, 50% crash and a rally off of that level to a new all-time high. Then we had Luna with USD or UST depegging, and basically the Luna project completely collapsing. This didn't result in it resulted in a rally, but nothing, noteworthy. And then FTX going down was also a massive liquidation event. All of these events, by the way, were half, if not less, than what we saw on the 10th. And they all resulted in, really good buy the dip opportunities. So I'm planting my flag on the bullish side of things, taking the counter trade, the counter narrative, the counter indicator, and saying that I think that this is going to work itself out and end up being a really good buy the dip opportunity and a potential reversal to new all-time highs. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. But we do have to follow certain things in place. You're kind of ahead of me in terms of, you're taking a more cautious approach with some of the things that you're seeing right now, and you're giving them less room to breathe. I'm with you that this red wave flip is not great, but I'm giving it more grace than you're giving it. Right now, you've already said, it was, if it recovered quickly, you would be happy to just ignore the red wave. I want to see over the next couple of days if we can reclaim the 7 simple moving average here on the weekly. So if we can get back on top of the 7, which is currently at a price of 114.9, I'm going to say that we will bounce off of that level. And I think that this is a shakeout. Now, when you look at the sentiment, everybody is super negative. Everybody is super depressed. I mean, countless liquidations. We had millions and millions of traders get blown up on Hyperliquid and other platforms. So sentiment is really, really low. As messed up as it is, I've been in this market long enough to know that when people blow up their accounts and they lose everything en masse, not just an edge case, but like countless people have blown up their accounts, it's pretty much every single time that marks the low. It completely resets the order book. The smart money can't extract any more out. They can't reduce their spreads on the order book to get the prices that they're after. They can't get it anymore. The volume evaporates. The sentiment is gone. There's nothing else to do except allow the natural force of demand to take over. And that natural force of demand is coming from institutions, and they're buying. So for me, I know it goes against a lot of what we teach. And it's definitely, kind of a baseless theory other than the fact that I've just experienced it so many other times. I'm going to give this one some room.
It's not a baseless theory. And Tone was still positive in last night's show as well. And Tone, if you know Tone, is normally a pretty cautious kind of guy, but he's of the same opinion. And he swayed me as well in his opinion. I'm not particularly bearish. I don't really.
No,
I'm not.
You're just following the technicals. Like the charts as you present them in front of you right now today do not look good. And you couple it up with other things that also don't look good. So
and I have I can easily change my opinion tomorrow if the market conditions look different. I'm an analyst, right? I'm just analyzing charts. It's nothing to it. But I will. Tone made a really good case, and we can bring it up. He does a side-by-side comparison. We still, Tone and I really believe in the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. And if you have a look at the S&P 500 chart, if you could pull that up just to SPX or SPY. Oh, still positive.
Tone's
there
watching.
He is. Our Tone's watching. Great. Good on you, mate.
Let's take a look. But before we do that, I just look at gold just for a moment.
Well,
like
gold is
if you want to know what the fuck is going on, for me, gold is a huge indicator. Like people are ditching equities, they're ditching bonds, they're putting it into hard assets. People are wanting to put their money somewhere. Right now, they're putting it in gold. So shout out to all the gold bugs that have been absolutely freaking slaughtering it. Just really relentless on gold.
Tone, do you want to come on? If you're free, you can jump on, mate. I'll send you the link.
Keep going. Send them the link. Yeah. But yeah, I'll pull up the S&P. If there was something that you were talking about with Tone, maybe I just hand it back over to you and you can take a look at the S&P.
Well, let's see if Tone is available, because we were looking at this chart right here in front of you there of the S&P. Now we had that collapse that came all the way down to that the moving average there,
50,
as you can see. Yeah. And then the recovery. So I don't think Bitcoin will collapse if S&P 500 goes to new all-time highs. Yeah. And if it can sustain that moving average right there, just like Bitcoin or the 50, then I think Bitcoin will recover in kind. They don't look that dissimilar, and there's a very good chance that it will. So I've sent Tone that link now. If he's available, he's welcome to jump on on Telegram. But you can see what I'm saying, right? Like it's the correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin is there. We have the same dump, and if we can recover, we don't have far to go to get back to the all-time highs as we do on Bitcoin too. Bitcoin just looks a little bit more dramatic, but I think if that recovers,
Bitcoin is more dramatic because it's like when you look at gold. So this is one of the oldest assets in financial markets is gold. It's been around for thousands of years, and people get gold. They understand gold. They know that in trying like turbulent geopolitical times, you go to gold. If the central banks are buying gold, if the US dollar is inflating too aggressively, Tone Vase has entered the chat. Let's add him in. Hey, Tone, good to see you.
Hey guys.
You got those what is it, the blue light blockers on, have you?
Yeah.
You look like the singer of U2 or something.
Yeah, don't usually do streams this late anymore.
What time is it? What time is it for you?
Yeah, you guys got an interesting background. It is almost 11 p.m., so it's actually past my bedtime in my new lifestyle change of not partying for a while.
Welcome to my world. This is what time we do our show every bloody night. This is how I feel.
No, I had to be up. I was putting together a thumbnail and setting up a stream for tomorrow morning with Adam Back and Jimmy Song about Bitcoin core versus nuts.
Cool. That's a really important
show. That'll be good. Yeah.
Hey, what happened to Blue? You guys can only show two people on the side of a screen?
Apparently. That's what it's looking like. Let me
I'll turn myself off. That didn't change.
No, that doesn't do anything. We can do it this way. There we go. Now I'm here. Yeah, I'm sure there's a setting I could do to get us all three of us on there. But I was just kind of going through, capital is moving into parts of the market. And right now, the dominant player here is gold. Like capital is flooding into gold. And then Matt brought up the point that you were more optimistic on Bitcoin because of the S&P 500 and how it is recovering really well. Because people understand the S&P 500. People understand equities. They've been around for a long time. It's almost like Bitcoin is at the bottom of the hierarchy here for retail demand because it is classified as the one with the most risk. So the most risk one needs the most convincing in order to, get that tailwind of demand behind it before you can start, seeing the price appreciation. So gold been killing it. Wasn't even affected by that tweet whatsoever. It probably helped it. S&P got really afraid, but is recovering with really bullish looking structure that could easily break a new all-time high. And Bitcoin, large liquidation event and a little bit of a pause. I think the Bitcoin crowd is definitely in wait and see mode, but I'm definitely optimistic.
Yeah, I'm mostly optimistic because of the S&P 500 correlation. And I still think the market is going to go back up to new all-time highs and Bitcoin will follow.
Yeah. I mentioned that just a minute ago. That's what you said on last night's show, and it won me over. I agree. I agree with that. It just technically on Bitcoin in a vacuum doesn't look very strong. But I think the S&P can pull it up for sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, guys. Well, I wanted to stop in and say hi. Matt, tomorrow's show is maybe. We're going to see how it is because I got to do that other show at 10 a.m. my time, and I might go hiking early in the morning. So I'll text you to see if we can squeeze in a 10, 15-minute show, but it might be tricky.
All right, mate. Have a good day. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good rest of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, how do I actually
get out of here?
I'll just turn it off.
What a treat that was to have Tone on the show. We do a show called the Daily High on the Financial Summit Network. It's our network as well. It's just an offshoot of Black Box every night of the week. Mostly, but as you heard, maybe not tonight, but maybe not tomorrow for you guys, Americans.
Yeah. If you guys are wanting to follow or get notifications of that show, definitely get into the Discord. If you haven't already done so, the Discord, that's where all the magic happens. So go ahead and scan the QR code. We got a very supportive community of like-minded individuals. We're all Bitcoiners. We're all traders. We're sharing different theories, and you can talk about anything in there. You can talk about what wallet is best. You can talk about which exchange offers different perks, different trading strategies, literally anything. So if you guys are looking for a good collaborative community to join, definitely scan the QR code and hop into the Discord, and you will be notified for not only this show, but the Daily High as well. So if you want to keep up to date, that's where you can do so. So that's pretty much it from my end. I don't feel the need to go into the smaller time frames myself because you covered them quite well. I just wanted to kind of explain my theory on Bitcoin and my theory on how these high volume events are generally good resets for the market, and I'm optimistic. But is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just bring up the 4-hour once again, just to review
on Bitcoin.
On Bitcoin, please. Yes.
Yeah.
This is really critical. I think we need to watch this basically to see if it folds from here, and I'd be doing two things. There's two takeaways from this show. I'd be furiously watching the comparison between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. If Bitcoin falls below this level here and the S&P rises, I see a great buy the dip in this case. So let's just say we fall down to that blue line you've got drawn in there, that spacer, and the S&P hits a new all-time high. I'd be looking somewhere like at that as a potential buy the dip. I think the S&P 500 and gold will pull Bitcoin up if they continue to rally. But if the S&P 500 starts to fail, which it could, and that's right on that line too. It's just had a red wave change. It has come down and touched on that critical moving average here, as you can see. Even on that previous chart, see we're on the bottom end of those moving averages there. On the weekly, you can see clearly for the S&P 500 that thing could fade as well, good attempts. Go to the weekly for a second on S&P.
Yeah.
You see, if we don't hold this structure, if we go down and fade there,
massive gap.
Yeah, massive
huge
gap.
divergence between the 7 and the 30.
And I would consider that would go into a bear market for Bitcoin, a winter, which would be fine because we'll look for green diamonds, which you can see. Look at the green diamonds on the bottom of that collapse we had. There's a green diamond right there. I'd be looking for that. I'd be looking for that purple phantom signal to come back in when we started to get strength again, which you can see on the S&P is always money. Those purple phantoms, they're littered throughout. Yeah, they're always terrific. So we just wait for a rounding and we load up again. That's all we do.
Yep.
There's plenty of content for us.
Yep.
But that's it for me. I got to pick up the kids up from school.
All right. One more shout out to the Discord, guys. If you want to keep up to date with all of the content, if you want to ask us questions, we do respond to the YouTube comments, but if you want a little bit more in-depth, detailed back and forth, we spend a lot of time in the Discord. That's where we're hanging out. That's where we're sharing ideas. Or if you have any video ideas or things that you want us to take a look at, definitely hop into the Discord. So follow the links below for that. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle.